Hey guys, welcome back to Guess the Grades. We'll try and keep this one flowing as best as possible without getting into too many rants. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start. I am going to go ahead and start with, this isn't our normal Guess the Grade cards in terms of like, we normally have like some higher end cards. So this might seem strange that we're starting with a trainer and it's last. However, it is a shadowless trainer because it has the 99 right there. If it didn't have the 99, it wouldn't be considered shadowless. So this is a shadowless trainer. I don't think they ever made it. They didn't make a hollow last, at least for base set. So it looks like she has a little dirt right there that doesn't want to come off easily. So it's best not to try and scratch it off. So trying a little dirt. That came off easily, and then there's a nick there, but it's not huge. We're still in the PSA 9 category. Alright, so now there's a fairly good bit of whiting. We're looking 7 to 8. Oh, there's some solid nicks, so we're looking closer to 7. We're just going to do a solid guess of 7 on it, and go from there. Now, also I do apologize. We generally do try and, hold on, I see some grime here. That looks like it's coming off easily. So we do generally try and not do duplicate cards for our videos. However, just the way this one worked out with this set, we happen to have 2 shadowless lasses, so another shadowless last. So if you guess the grades, just do it in order of how we're doing the cards, and we'll know which last you're guessing the grades on. And, hopefully you'll win something. So if you're guessing the grades, make sure you're guessing the grades in the comments, and you can either guess the same grades that we're doing based on what we see, or you can guess the grades. So there's some whiting on the edges. Centering seems fine. Nothing wrong with the actual artwork itself. So, so there's a bunch of whiting and scratches on the back to include some stains and smudges. Looking closer to the 5 to 6 category for this. So we'll guess it between a 5 and 6. So you want to guess the grades because you never know when we'll do a giveaway. And, if you don't guess the grades, you can't win at all. So sometimes we do giveaways based on, how we feel. And, depending on how, if you got the grade right, you know what, I'm going to give away without something getting it right. So Sabrina might seem a little strange because she's not hollow and she's not first edition. However, she is still an older vintage card and she is a rare. And we also send in cards that aren't rares. The older cards, although she does have some dirt on her, the older cards still demand value as long as, they come out fairly good condition. Centering looks pretty solid. Is some whiting on the back. I think this is the one actually from my collection I played a lot as a kid. We're going to guess 6 to 7. See how that goes. Sorry, we're trying a new setup, so it's a little hard for me to write things down and reach and just try and get y'all the best camera view. Obviously, we don't have a great tripod. We just have a standard little tripod. As I said, a lot of these cards aren't really high-end popping cards. Like, they're nothing crazy. So reverse hollow metal energy 2017. It doesn't give me a card set number. The centering is off. A little nick on the back here and there. We think possibly an 8, so we'll put down 8. 8 flat. But it's just going to be one of those cards that doesn't come, back worth anything until like 10, 20 years from now. So it may be something that we hold on to, but, it's just how we're going to have to do it for that one. So generally when we send stuff into the PSA, we do want to have an instant turnaround. But if we have to wait it out, we'll wait it out. It is what it is. They don't take up that much room. That's why I like collecting cards. Well, buying and selling them. So this one, all the cuts are atrocious in terms of around the edge. There's no nicks, but it's just really atrocious centering all around. It's really funny when Darkness Energy was coming out. I think it came out a little bit before this, but while it was still out, it was a rare just because of how hard it was to, these weren't a normal, very common energy. Some whiting and some bordering is pretty bad. We think maybe just a flat 8. The bordering is pretty bad. It may push it down to a 7. But I think an 8 is fair. Would be nice if it was hollow or first edition or something, but, we're just going with what we get. Now, what was disappointing is I looked closer at this card, so I was pretty happy with this card. In fact, I think this card was even a pack pull. What was upsetting is there is a very solid crease right there at the top. I don't know why cards tend to get the crease right there. Like, that's a very common thing for cards. Other than that, the card is pretty, nice to look at. It is, it wasn't a pack pull. It's from 2005. So this was a card we got from someone's binder. Sadly, there was a crease right there. It kind of definitely makes it hard to grade. That crease probably puts it closer into the 7 to 8 range right off the bat. There is some whiting and the centering is not great. I don't know how hard the crease hits. I presume it hits fairly hard. So we're going to have to say 6 to 7. Hopefully it comes back better. If the crease wasn't there, we'd definitely guess between 8 to 9. But the crease is definitely a big, hit for our score. Next, we have a Sabrina's Days. And I know Sabrina's Days isn't even a rare. And this isn't even a first edition one. However, it is, just as I said, it's a vintage card. And the vintage cards, as long as they're decent condition, demand value. And so I think this card is in decent condition. A little bit of stain here. Some whiting on the back, but I still think it could pull a 7 to 8. It's probably a very little profit margin if we sold it right away with those grades. But once again, we'll just wait till that increases. Next we have is a Pidgeot non-holo, the World Champion Series. I believe this was a 2005. Yep, 2005. So this is definitely interesting because I didn't know Pokemon did this till I started doing these sorts of things. And then what's interesting is the ones that are the World Series ones of this set actually tend to go for less than the ones that aren't, which I think is a little strange. You figure with the extra little special stuff they do for it, and probably limited run, that it would go for more, but it just doesn't. So it'll be a waiting game. Everything on this card seems pretty good. Centering's pretty solid, a little bit heavier on the bottom than the top. Sides looks good. And the back looks good. Really no white or anything. We're going to guess 9 to 10, which is pretty fair. It's nice to have that on there. On this current sheet, this current sheet is lacking some of them higher grades. Plus, there isn't a lot of high-end cards on this sheet right now. Next we have is a more modern Rainbow Energy. I believe this is from a 2017 set. Yep, 2017. The centering is pretty rough left to right and top to bottom. It's a reverse holo, not a main holo. Other than that, there's really no other issues with it. Is some whiting on the back. Centering on the back is a little bit better. With the whiting and all that, we'll probably guess a 7. And this one probably isn't an immediate turnaround either. This representation of these 20 cards is more of cards that we're probably going to have to wait out a while. Again though, once they're in their PSA case, they're pretty much protected forever. Now what's funny to me about these is, as far as I'm aware, these don't have a high demand. And why that's funny to me is, well, this one not so much as it's one of them, it's from the movie, and they gave a lot of these out and sold a lot of these. But in terms of what they represent, these really represent the most nostalgia to me. This is the people who watch the show. This is the people who watch the movies. And so this is a capture, a little scene from the show/movie. And so right now these don't demand high value, but to me I think they will. And not a lot of people collected them back in the day. They've picked up popularity because everything Pokemon's picked up popularity. But this is a pretty good card. We're going to guess probably 9. It's a pretty good condition. There's some little things here, but it's very minor. So we'll guess 9 for it. And we really hope these build up in popularity. And we think they will. Because everyone is going to be rewatching the old show too. And they're going to want pieces of the old show, not just the card game itself. Next is we have a Shadowless Diglett. He's not in perfect condition. This is probably our worst Shadowless Diglett. Got some nicks here and there. It's nothing really crazy. The bordering looks fine on the front. Definitely got some whiting, and the bordering is a little worse on the back in terms of centering. We're going to guess 7 to 8. 8's probably a little high. Heck, 7 might be even a little high. But, we're hoping for the best. Alright, next up is a Cloister Topps card. Believe it or not, there are, of course, the classics. And I know technically all these top cards are classics, but really, your Charizard Bulk, your Charizard Venusaur, and Blastoise, especially Hollow, actually have a fairly large value demand, more so margin-wise compared to the rest of the Topps cards. It looks like he's in pretty good condition. It's interesting, they have him here with no smile, and they have him with a smile on the back. He looks pretty much solid card. We're going to guess actually 10 for this card. It's kind of easy to get these cards in a really high condition, in my opinion, because they weren't generally played. I played mine as a kid just in terms of we were like, hey, this is my Pokemon, and we threw it down, and we pretended to do moves. We were like 5 at the time, but because these were just extra cards that we had gotten as kids from our older siblings. So another top card, Executor, and he looks like he's in really good condition, so we're going to guess 10 for him as well. We don't think these will drop up in value too much. I mean, they have just with the spike of Pokemon, but in terms of just general Pokemon that have jumped up, we don't think these ones will. We think maybe the specific scene cards will, in our opinion, but not so much the Topps individuals. So we have a Neogenesis Japanese Steelers. He just feels nice to hold. He's so smooth. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. Fantastic. Nice. Thought that was like a chip off of him, but it's not. That's a 10. This guy's a 10. I will be really disappointed if he does not come back 10. While the penny sleeve he is in is straight trash, but he is a 10 regardless, in our opinion. Alright, so next we got is the baby version of Clefairy. I know it's not really a card you usually get rated, but we're going to anyways. The bordering's a little weird on the bottom. It's like it's at a diagonal. He's got some front whitening, which isn't great, and he's got some back nicks. We'll say 7. And really, this card is going to have to be one of those cards we have to wait on. Even if it was in English, with it being Japanese, you have to wait even longer. But it's just not a very popular card. But we're going to get graded and sit on it. So we have a Silvally GX. More modern card, not really a super high collector's card, but still nevertheless. We think it's worth getting graded. Be a little bit of a wait. It's in really decent condition. We think 9 to 10 for this one. So that's what we're going to run with. We probably won't see a Pokemon value spike in a while. I think Pokemon, for the remainder of its time, will just have a steady climb. I don't think Pokemon's going to have a huge value spike. So this is another Shadowless Charmander. Not in fantastic condition. I treated my Shadowless Charmanders as a kid at pretty much as shit. So I thought all Shadows cards looked worse than Shadowed cards, and I figured they were worth less. And then the irony of it is hitting me now in the face. He's got a stain that's not coming off. He's got some whiting edges. His centering's not perfect. He's got some nicks up here, and he's got a lot of whiting on the back. A lot of whiting. We're looking more at the 3 to 4 category. So that's what we'll guess. And I think even now it still might be worth it. It might just be a tiny bit profit, but we just prefer selling graded cards. It is kind of silly. We still get people though who are like, "Hey, can you send more pictures?" And we will. And we're just kind of though thinking, why? The grade, that it's going to be in that condition level of the grade. I have heard rumors of people apparently being able to break open sealed graded cases. I haven't heard a rumor about it for the PSA, but I've heard rumors of it for other graders, and what they'll do is they'll slip in a card that wasn't graded that they know is a little bit in worse condition than the graded card. We're going to guess 8 to 9 for this Ninetales, and they'll slip in a card that's a little bit worse than the graded card, and they'll ship it and sell it, and the person who bought it really won't know better, and they'll have gotten a card that isn't what they were actually thought they were buying. So I've heard of rumors of that, but I haven't heard that done with PSA. So to me, it's a little silly. I mean, I'll still send more pictures. You know, most of our cards, when we're talking like that, are higher end cards, and we'll spend the time sending pictures. It doesn't take long. I mean, people who get iffy with me about wanting more pictures or even like a video, it's kind of weird to me. I love how Ancient Mew looks. I know he was overdone, but I can't get over that. It's one of my favorite cards to look at. This is still, I have not found one in person. I have not found a spelling error Ancient Mew yet. This is the non-spelling error version. It's a thicker border, so it's considered the English version, and it's the 2001, so it's Ancient Mew 2000 English version. I'm not seeing any issues. That's good. Centering looks good. And back centering looks good, and there's some minor scratches, but super minor. So perhaps 9. There's a ding there. Maybe 8 to 9. We're hoping 9. For 10s, they demand a decent little value. It's a nice little win if you buy these raw. Generally raw, you can get them somewhere super cheap at $5 and somewhere at a decent little price of $25 on average. And you know, if you were to pull a 10 out of that 20, you know, how many you bought for 25, you make a little profit. Base set 2 Raichu, it does have a little, he's got a lot of scratches, but they're like micro scratches. They're not deep, so I'm not quite certain how it's going to go against us. Bordering's cut a little funny, but the centering is fine. Little nick here. There's a lot of micro scratches. I don't know how such micro scratches occur. Like I have this on several cards, and it just doesn't occur to me exactly like what causes those micro scratches. Okay, so he's a lot worse on the back than the front. 4 to 6. It's probably 5. What was interesting, I didn't realize it till I, you know, went to shoot the video. I'd never seen a top loader that has custom writing in it. So this top loader actually has rookie card written on it in little gold. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that's worth anything. We're not even going to bother. 4 to 5. I don't think it's in the 6 category. So that concludes this set, guys. I'm sorry these weren't big hitters. We will definitely try and make sure our other guess your grades are big hitters. Make sure you're guessing those grades in the comment. We never know we're going to do a giveaway, but it doesn't hurt to guess the grades for these videos. And it's fun, you know. And obviously we can't determine a winner until we get the cards back from the PSA, which takes a really long time. But we're going to do our best to reference back to the videos of which the cards came from. It's the whole point of doing all the listing and stuff and keeping them separate as best as possible. And then making sure they come back in a certain order so we can guess the grades. And yeah, thanks for playing, thanks for watching, and let us know what you think. Bye.